Into the Void 5 has come. Into the Void 5 has gone. What a great night of professional wrestling that we had in Tokyo. I can't wait to break down all the matches. I can't wait to go around and around the SCW universe with news and rumors. I can't wait to get into the mailbag. And guess what? It all starts now.
Are you ready? I'm ready. Live on Revolution Radio, please welcome the hosts of the Hotwire, Tommy Knox.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Hot Wire. It's the Post Into the Void 5 edition, and I'm so happy to be back on the air. I hope you guys had a great week. I know I did, right? It was a great night 5 days ago and Into the Void 5 in Tokyo, and we're going to break down all the action. I hope you guys had a great week. I hope you didn't miss me too much because you know that Tommy Knox always misses you. And guess what? We didn't have it last week, so I'm not going to waste any more fucking time. We're going to go right into the hot wire mail bag. And we're going to start with you, KCC in Nashua. What do you think of Casey Williams losing to Rage? What about Kane's return after the match and his actions towards Rage? Listen, I thought Casey had a nice run there. I did pick him to win this match, and of course I was wrong. It happens sometimes. Rarely, but it happens. But I thought Casey looked good, even in defeat. There's some rumblings about, keeping him in that title picture or a title picture, and he deserves it, right? He's the freight train of pain. But I thought he looked good. Kane, the King of Kings, Kane, has returned. He is a Grand Slam champion, and he has returned. I think that his return was a little surprising. I wasn't expecting him to come back so soon. But he's back, and it's awesome. I think Rage has a legitimate challenger there in Kane. And listen, I talk shit a lot about Rage. But when Rage is hungry and motivated, like he showed on Sunday night, he's a dangerous guy. And you know what? When Kane is hungry and motivated, he's a dangerous guy. If this happens, these guys could have some great fucking matches, and I look forward to them. So thank you for your question, Casey. I hope I answered it okay. Katie in Hawaii asked, since you started hosting the Hot Wire, which person on the SCW roster has impressed you the most? J2H. I think that's a given, right? He's the best heavyweight champion we've had in a long time, and he looks fantastic. He's definitely impressed me more than anyone else. Not to say he's the only one that impressed me, but you asked me who impressed me the most, okay? Brock in Texas. Which of the Into the Void matches aren't you looking forward to? Weird question because Into the Void has come and gone. So I'm not really sure why you asked that question. Vinny from Jersey. My boy, Vinny from Jersey. Who is J2H trying to fool? He thinks he's all badass when everyone can see he's a soft touch. Or do you think it's some kind of bipolar personality thing? I think it's a millennial thing, right? All these fucking 20-something dudes are fucking whacked out of their brains now. They're all on antidepressants. They all feel like the world owes them something. And listen, J2H may be a great heavyweight champion, but let's be honest, he's still a millennial, right? He's still a Gen Y, right? So that's what I think that is. Thank you for your question, Vinny. Tina from Taiwan. With Team Hero losing the tag titles, what do you think they should do? What do you think they should be focusing their attention on? regaining the tag titles, or focusing on singles titles. It's up in the air. And quite frankly, it's whatever they want to do. They've earned that right. Okay? They are the best tag team in wrestling. I've said that a long time. Male or female, they are the best. I'd love to see them stick together, but I would love to see what they can do on their own, especially Kira. We've never seen a great singles run from Kira. In fact, she's faltered a little bit recently in her singles matches. So I would like to see what she can do on her own. They're both great talents, and as far as I'm concerned, they can do whatever they want. They've wrote that check. It's time for them to cash it. Sophie from Tallahassee, for you, what was the highlight of the night at Into the Void? For me, what was the highlight of the night? There were so many. There were very many. It was really nice to see Melody finally get over that hump and get a championship. Listen, for any of you guys that obviously most of you don't know her personally, I know her very little. But just I've spent some time with her. I've been in the room with her, and she just lights up the room. I mean, she's just a wonderful, nice person, and to see someone like that succeed, that was a great moment. So she deserves that, and God bless her. From at Despy fan, this one came in on Twitter. Which match underwhelmed you from Into the Void? I was underwhelmed by. Let me see. Joshua Aquin versus Constantine. I wasn't underwhelmed by Joshua Aquin, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. But Constantine just, sometimes we get these signings in SCW and they get hyped and you get excited about them. I was really excited about Constantine, and boy, has he really fucking sucked. Let's just leave it at that. Zoe Herman from Boise, Idaho. Into the Void 5 had a lot of surprises with returns and some title changes. I know you'll get into that later in the show because I'm an avid listener. Thank you, Zoe. So what is one match you predict will be on the next Climax Control? I think Crystal Miller, will get her one-on-one shot against Sam Marlowe. That's what I think. I think that she earned it. And even though she got pinned, she deserves that one-on-one shot. She didn't get it. So I think they'll make that right on the 150th edition of Climax Control next Sunday night. Quentin Hessman from Green Bay, Wisconsin. A cheesehead. I love it. Love the show, bro. What's one thing that you think a lot of the superstars and bombshells on the roster could do more of? Like, I'd love to see more of the bombshells. I'd also love to see somebody have their own little talk show sort of deal. So what do you think? Like what happened to the wrestlers coming in hosting their own little shows inside the ring? That would be fun. SCW shows are, to me, the best in the business, right? So when I say what more can they do, it's not because they're not doing enough. I just, listen, we're American fans. We want to constantly be pleased. So there's always more. And to me, just the answer to your question, Quentin, is more. Like, just keep that foot on the accelerator and don't let up. Jessa May from Orange City, Iowa. Excuse me. I'm so excited for the next Straight Green movie, EEP. EEP, all caps. And it's even better that Melody Grace is set to star in it next to him. But with her just winning the SCW Bombshell Internet Championship, do you think that something will have to change? And if you could pick one superstar and one bombshell, other than Melody, of course, that could go into acting, who would you pick? I'm not sure what's going to change as far as I'm concerned, and what I know, Warner Brothers is paying her a lot of money, so I expect her to be in that movie. As far as who else could get into acting, I think J2H has got that face. Does he have the skill for that stuff? I don't know, but he's certainly got the look. Micah is just gorgeous. Veronica Taylor, gorgeous. Crystal Miller has had success on the big screen, somewhat success anyway. Listen, there's always crossovers. These guys are performers right? They're athletes and they're fighters, but they're performers. So that crossover is always going to be there. Will from Narragansett, Rhode Island. Team Hero lost! Exclamation point. A sad day in tag team wrestling. I had wanted them to go a year with the belts, but that is not going to be happening, obviously. In the past year, from June 2015 to June 2016, what current champion has been the best? And to add on to that question, what former champion do you believe to have been the best in the company, hands down, in your opinion, of course? That's a couple of broad questions. If I have to say, from the past 12 months, who's had the best championship reign, it's Team Hero, obviously. J2H has also looked good. I thought Drake Green was doing some of the best work of his career before he got injured and had to give up the World Heavyweight Championship. But obviously, Team Hero is the answer to that question. What former champion do I think is best in the company, hands down? Spike Staggs. To me, Spike Staggs is the best person that ever laced up the boots, and I haven't seen otherwise. You can make a case for Misty Waters. You can make a case for Vixen Staggs. You can make a case for Nick Jones and for Drake Green, sure. But to me, it's Spike Staggs. Valerie from Hershey, Pennsylvania, home of chocolate. I'm so sad I saw that Drake Green proposed to Micah at Into the Void 5. I was for sure that it was just a fling because we all know that Micah can't commit to anybody. Do you have any details on if Micah has said yes or if she has turned him down? I need to know. Unfortunately for you, my chocolate-loving friend, I have no fucking clue. And to be completely honest with you, I don't really care. It's none of my business. Alyssa from New Mexico. Your opinions seem to change weekly, depending on what the superstars and bombshells do on the shows. Obviously, it does, because they do different shit every week. Thank you, Alyssa. But let me actually read your question. Excuse me. I don't want to be rude. But regardless, who is your one superstar and one bombshell that you could watch wrestle a 60-minute match and not get bored of them? Micah. Micah, to me, is the best on the roster. Who else can I see not get bored of for 60 minutes? Whew. I tell you what, I could watch J2H and Despair wrestle again. I don't know about 60 minutes. I mean, an hour is a long fucking time, but, those two can go. They can go. Let's see. Andy, my boy. Andy from Atlanta. Do you feel if Steve Ramone and Ryan Keys would have stayed on the platform with James Siskini and Matt Spears instead of leaping off into the stands, that one of them would have won the Roulette Championship? Taking themselves out of the match like that seems like it was a lose-lose situation for Ramone and Keys. So I'm not really sure if Andy actually watched the end of that match, because that's really not what happened. And I'll just, for those of you guys that don't remember either, I'll recap it. So Ryan Keys hit his finisher, right? Boom, right to the face of Steve Ramone. At that moment, before he could capitalize, remember, Matt Spears was kind of already out. Okay? James Siskini ran in, grabbed Ryan Keys, threw him into the stands. Keys smacked his face on the guardrail. Right? Being the veteran, that KG ring veteran that he is, Steve Ramone, knowing that he just got blasted and was going to get pinned if he didn't do something, he rolled off the stage to avoid getting pinned, which would probably be the only thing he could have done, because at that moment of time, if James Siskini got on top of him, he was done. So he did the smart thing and rolled off. Unfortunately for Steve, Matt Spears tapped out. So that's what happened. So to answer your question, Andy, sure, if they stayed up on the stage, you never know. But I think that Steve made the right choice in that situation, because now he didn't get pinned, and he has a moment to say, wait a second, I still haven't gotten pinned. I deserve my one-on-one shot. So there you go. Did anything shock you at Into the Void? Some of the returns. I had no idea that Shipman was coming back. I love Chris Shipman. Also, again, Kane was a nice surprise. Was pretty cool. Who was the rising star on the night? The rising star. Marcus Reeves, right? That guy's for real. All right, he's for real. And mark my word, July 31st, Summer Extreme, that dude is gonna win some gold. It's just my prediction here, but that dude is gonna win some gold on July 31st. Okay. How was your flight home with Crystal? Um, so for those of you that don't know, I spent 11 hours on the plane next to Crystal Miller. And I will say this, I'm not going to get into that. A lot of what we talked about was personal. You know, Crystal is a nice girl, a bit misunderstood, but she's a nice girl, and I'm going to leave it at that. Okay? All right, guys. That's all our questions for this week. Good job. Thanks for sending them in. I appreciate it. So we're going to talk about Into the Void now. I'm gonna go through the matches one by one. I'm going to tell you, hey, this is who won. This is what I thought could have been better, right? But the very first match of the night, as tradition in Sin City Wrestling, was a Roulette Championship match. This was a Superstar Roulette Championship match. And as we just talked about a minute ago with Andy's question, it was a Fatal 4-Way match. James Siskini defended his title against Ryan Keys, the Fearless One, Steve Ramone, and Matt Spears. And I alluded to the ending before. It was a convoluted ending, very sharp, quick, and ultimately James Siskini made Matt Spears tap out. It was a fun match. I mean, it was a decent opener. You know, there was that one high spot with Steve Ramone jumping off the top of the screen, but it was a fun match, and you know they all put it on the line. And unfortunately for Matt Spears, he got caught in the torture rack, and James Siskini retained his title. I thought Ryan was going to win that match, and I still think that Ryan deserves a one-on-one shot at that belt. And that might happen at some point, but for now, James Siskini is your roulette champion. Marcus Reeves, who I'm very high on, took on Alex Rush in one-on-one action, and Marcus won, and he won pretty easily. Like I said before, Marcus to me is a rising star. He's looked great since he's debuted, and I think that will continue going forward. Solid effort by both men, but Marcus looked like the better competitor for sure. The next match was an interesting one. It was the first time it's ever been done in Sin City Wrestling. So it was actually a tag team match. It was a Metal and Punk connection, right? Jesse Salco and Amy Marshall versus Natalie McKinley and Melody Grace. Okay. The caveat to this match was that Jesse Salco, who is the Bombshell Internet Champion, was defending her title in the match, right? So the stipulation was that if she got pinned, whoever pinned her would win her title, right? And this is where there's a little bit of controversy, right? And I could see that piece of, that interesting character guy, Hot Stuff Mark Ward. Be careful the way I choose my words because he's my boss. Does here on next Sunday, because the stipulation was very clear, right? It said if Jesse Salco gets pinned. Jesse Salco did not get pinned. She submitted, right? She submitted a Melody Grace. So the ruling was, in the match, new Bombshell Internet Champion, Melody Grace. She deserves it. She earned it. I'm a huge Melody fan. We talked about it a few minutes ago. But it didn't really match the stipulation. So I'm curious to find out what's going to happen, if anything, with that. But don't be surprised if Mark Ward says something to the contrary and we get another dusty finish. One-on-one action. Joshua Aquin, who has had a remarkable turnaround these past 6 weeks, was really a fucking loser as far as I'm concerned, and has come back to be one of the most impressive competitors the past 6 weeks. He just destroyed and dismantled Constantine, right? And then the Masked Man came out and joined in. The Masked Man, of course, was revealed to be Austin Aquin, who is Joshua's brother. So it looks like we got a new tag team on the scenes, which is pretty cool. Joshua and Austin Aquin. Looking forward to that. Speaking of tag teams, the next match on the card was a tag team bout. Former World Tag Team Champions Gnarly and Radical, the Surf Boys, took on the returning Johnny Tsunami and the returning Caleb Houston. Bad Company, led by Evie Bang, their manager. And I gotta tell you, Bad Company looked good. Right, these guys are maniacs. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Caleb and Johnny, but these guys are maniacs. If you ever try to talk to one of them, right, if you talk to them, it's like, I'm pretty sure that Johnny's high on something all the time. And Caleb is just out there, right? But it doesn't change the fact that these guys, in between the ropes in that six-sided ring, they're maniacs. And they looked great last Sunday night. Evie, by the way, their manager, Evie Bang, super fucking hot. I mean, whew, super hot. And she's got some bite to her, right? This tag team is going to go a long way in this company. Just my professional opinion as the journalist and the celebrated analyst that I am. These guys are going to go far. One-on-one match, Veronica Taylor versus Micah. Interesting about this match, both women had been on somewhat of losing streaks. Veronica Taylor had been somewhat irrelevant the past few months. And Micah, again, someone who had lost one match since she's been with the company, had just lost an additional 2 in a row. So it looked like her career was on a really bad downslope. But she won. She picked up the victory over Veronica Taylor. But the surprising thing about this was that Veronica Taylor looked excellent. She looked like she belonged in the ring with Micah. Okay, so maybe we have a renewed, reinvigorated Veronica Taylor on our hands. I think that would be great. That would be great for the company. It would be great for the division, if that's true. Now, this could just be Micah really is sliding and slid all the way down to shit level, so they both looked decent. I don't know. That remains to be seen. But again, I was impressed with Veronica here. I thought she looked great. Bombshell Roulette Championship was on the line. Kate Steele, who had a pretty decent run. It's gone unnoticed, a little bit under the radar, against Zuri Chastain. Zuri, who had been hot since she had returned, got the nod to take on Kate, and she lost. Right? I picked Zuri to win, and I was wrong. It happens. What you gonna do? I'm sorry. But Zuri looked good in defeat. Kate Steele looked even better in victory. And you know what? If people don't pay attention, you can have another record-setting title reign on your hands. She looks good. I think she's going to hold on to that belt for a little bit. And I hope she gets all that she deserves. One-on-one match. Unsanctioned. Travis Nathaniel Andrews taking on the returning, injured, not clear to wrestle, Drake Green. What can I say about this match? TNA, Travis Nathaniel Andrews, has looked great. He did lose. He lost to Drake Green. But he looked great. I mean, he's become a predator. I mean, he looked fucking vicious, and he lost, yeah, but he looked great in doing so, and this guy's, career path is just going up. And Drake Green, listen, you lose to a 3-time world heavyweight champion, it's not a bad thing, okay? It's not like he lost to Constantine, right? He lost to quite possibly one of the best of all time. So you can't argue that, and he looked very good in that match. and it was a fun match. It was a brutal match. Drake took a beating, right? But he somehow came up with a win, and God bless him for it. Now let's get into some of the more interesting moments of the night. World Bombshell Tag Team Championship, 200 and I think 31 days. Team Hero, putting it on the line against the new version of the Angel Clan, Lucy Serafina and the new Uriella Abaddon. And maybe Uriella was the missing factor, that X factor, the missing link, because they won. They put an end to one of the greatest tag team title reigns we've had in the company's history, if not the greatest. And we have new tag team champions. This was a big shock to me. I did not see this happening. But you know what? I'm kind of glad it did. I think that it's a new look for the belt. It's a little bit of a refresher. I think that Roxy and Kira deserve the break. And I would, again, like we talked about earlier, it'd be nice to see what they could do, especially Kira, in singles competition. World Tag Team Championship match, Hardcore Rules, Team BJ, Ben Jordan and Jamie Dean, versus the Monsters, Lord Rob and Samuel McPherson. Kind of an uneventful match. It kind of didn't excite me as much as I thought it would. I knew that Team BJ would win, and they did. No slight on the Monsters at all. I thought they looked great. But the better team won, right? They're tag team champions for a reason. And I think that the way the division is exploding, it's going to be a good summer for tag team wrestling. Let's just leave it at that. Internet Championship, Triple Threat. Rage, my buddy Rage, finally learned how to defend the championship. He bested Dimitri and Casey Williams to retain the championship. Of course, he got a little bit of beating of his own afterwards from Kane, but that's something else we'll talk about. But this was a good match, and I was proud of Rage. I'm hard on him, and I'm hard. Listen, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I'm hard on people who I think can do better, right? If I don't talk about you, it's because I don't care, right? I think Rage has the talent to be a world heavyweight champion again, which is why if you fucking lose a title on your first defense, I'm going to get on you. Sorry, bro. Deal with it. Okay? You want to be a loser, then you're going to hear about it. But Rage, you were a winner. And you know what? You did great. Kane kind of blindsided you, so I'm not going to fault you there. And I think that you'll get your hands around his neck soon enough. So congrats. Dimitri and Casey Williams look good, even though you didn't win. And there'll be more exciting things for those two guys, especially Dimitri. I think Dimitri stock is going up at some point. Maybe not this week, Dimitri, but it's going up. You've been doing great. World Bombshell Championship, another triple threat. Right? Mercedes Vargas, Samantha Marlowe, and Crystal Miller. Wow, this was a good one. It got overshadowed a bit, and we'll talk about that in a second, but it was a good one. And you know what? I don't want to get too much into it, but Mercedes Vargas, if you can't defend the title, you're going to hear about it. And you couldn't defend your title. A title I said a few weeks ago, I didn't think you deserved to win in the first place. And you know what? Look, God bless you. You're in the history books. You got that championship reign. But I think that the right person won. Sam Marlowe is a great competitor to lead that division. And it will be exciting to see what she can do in her second run. The best match of the night, by far, was the World Heavyweight Championship. These two guys put everything on the line. I mean, everything. And I'm, again, a little bit guilty because when I did think of Despair, I did not think of Despair at the top of the card. I didn't, and, call me an asshole, whatever. And I was proven wrong. And I'm an adult, and I'm not too proud. I can admit that. These two guys looked every bit world heavyweight champions, both of them. And really, I was blown away. It was the only match, I will say, that I was on the edge of my seat the whole time because I didn't know what was going to happen or who would win. Um, Ultimately, I think the better competitor did win. But if Despair had won, I would not be sitting here saying, "Oh, it shouldn't have happened." Like I would be commending him. Uh, there is no second place, right? There's first and there's last, but we're gonna make an exception here. There is a second place for Despair. All in all, it was a great show. It was a lot of fun. Was it the best show we've had all year? Maybe not. But it was one of the better ones. Certainly one of the better Into the Voids. Um, but lots of stuff happened, right? We had a bunch of debuts, like Kale Smith made his first appearance um, at the show as an SCW star. We talked earlier, Austin Aquin, uh, Joshua's brother, also finally making his appearance, taking that mask off. Christina Bentley got into it, brand new star. Christina Bentley got into it with Veronica Taylor. Right? Amy Jane also debuted. Okay. Um, and then Matt Spears. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I confused them. John Doe coming back, first of all, and then throwing his name into the hat in the tag team division with his new partner, Eisensane. Right? So it was a fun night. And very quietly and very quickly, we have a formidable men's tag team division. And this is, like I said before, I think it's going to be a good summer for tag team wrestling. Returns. Chris Shipman, we talked about it, right? Preaching from the book of Shipman. I fucking love this guy. I think the roulette title, the roulette division was made for this guy, and I'm so happy he's back. Kane, again, love Kane. He attacked Rage after he defended the internet title successfully. And if these guys do end up in a match, I think it'll be exciting. They're both great competitors. We did have some title changes, like I talked about before. Melody Grace taking the Bombshell Championship from Jesse Salco. The Angel Clan, of course, beating Team Hero, and Sam Marlowe regaining the Bombshell World Championship. All the men retained, which is kind of interesting. Just some other things to throw out there. James Siskini did go to Ryan Keys after the match backstage and thank him and show him respect. That has led to some people to speculate that Ryan Keys might challenge one-on-one, but you never know. Drake Green, as you may have heard, did propose to Micah, which was whatever. But more importantly, Drake Green was seen going back and forth with Hot Stuff, Mark Ward, backstage again. So these guys never give up. If you talk about two people that just fucking hate each other, the first people that come to mind are Drake Green and Hot Stuff Mark Ward. I mean, wow. Lots of things happened after the show, which we'll get to in a little bit. But to me, the defining moment of the night was at the end of the World Heavyweight Championship match when J2H and Despair hugged in the center of the ring. J2H is a cocky, arrogant champion, right? And he doesn't hide that. But for him to show that kind of humility and give Despair the respect he deserved, it almost brought a tear to my eye. And I'm not afraid to admit that, by the way. All right. But there was rumors coming out that Despair did go to the hospital afterwards and spent a few days there with some head injuries. So hopefully he's okay. But that was Into the Void, guys. right? It was a great show. It was a fun night. It was Tokyo, Japan, right? Not very often we get to go there. But I'm really excited to get back to Las Vegas. We'll be in the Gold Coast Casino next weekend, returning to our home arena for the 150th edition of Climax Control. That's a big show. Uh, we're going to get into rumors in a little bit, but we're going to have some fun stuff next weekend, believe me. Um, Twitter question, right? Every week I ask these Twitter questions, and normally there's one choice that just blows the field away, right? It has like 30 or 40% more than anything else, right? This week, weird, right? So I asked who was the performer of the night, all right? I did James Tischini, the Angel Clan, J2H, or Sam Marlowe. James Tischini, I'm sorry, you only received 6% of the vote. But this is where it gets interesting. Angel Clan, 28%. J2H and Sam Marlowe, both at 33. It's the first time ever we've had a tie. Also, the first time ever we've had three of the four within 5% of each other. I would have picked the Angel Clan because of what they were able to accomplish, taking the titles from Team Hero. But any of those four, to be honest with you, had great nights, especially J2H. So God bless you guys. Thank you for all that you do. Let's see. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the news and the rumors going around the SCW universe. Rumor has it that SCW is in talks with an Angel Clan family to possibly sign another female to the company. Sources are reporting that the possible frontrunners are LAW Chaos Champion Michelle Engzo, the oldest half sister, and Lucy's full blooded cousin Claudia Serafina. Melanie Gabrielle has not returned any of my phone calls. Because why, right, Melanie? Listen, Melanie, when Tommy Knox picks up the phone, you answer and you return calls. But she wouldn't confirm them, so I can't give you anything hard right now. But it's flying around that there's another Angel Clan member coming back. Dre Green reportedly, has now been officially cleared to wrestle. All right, after his unsanctioned match with TNA. And according to my sources, Christian Underwood is pushing hard to book Drake for next week's 150th edition of Climax Control. Most of you know Drake Green usually only wrestles at Supercards. That's in his contract. But special show, Christian's pushing for it. I don't know how Mark Ward feels about that, but I would love to see Drake Green in the ring. Climax Control. There is talk about doing a rematch at Summer Extreme. J2H and Despair could be interesting. Maybe an added stipulation like a 2 out of 3 falls maybe this time around. Who knows? But I would love to see those two guys go at it again. Someone also told me that Hot Stuff has reached out to a former Bombshell for a possible return. So I will keep my eyes peeled for that one. But returns is the name of the game this past few weeks. This one was interesting. A buddy of mine who works for IHG, the International Hotel Group, told me that Bad Company, he just said Bad Company, so we don't know if he's talking about Johnny Tsunami, Caleb Houston, or even Evie Bang, apparently trashed their locker room so bad at the Tokyo Arena that it cost thousands of dollars. And SCW was stuck with the bill, and they're not happy, right? So interesting story there. I wonder who it was. I bet you it was Tsunami. That guy looks like a fucking maniac. That's just my guess. With all the new signings and returns, SCW is not done yet, right? Reported there will be one, possibly two more tag teams added to the Bombshell division before the month of June is over. And there is one huge, and I repeat, huge signing in the works. They're looking to finalize that one by Climax Control 150 next weekend. So we'll keep you in the loop on that. But apparently it's a big one. Um, that's all I got, guys. That's all I got. Um, look, I just want to say one thing. I love professional wrestling. I love it very much. And there are some times when I'm not happy with the quality or the competitors or the booking or whatever it may be. But right now is one of those times where I'm just satisfied as a fan. Right? You don't get that feeling very often where you always kind of your brain starts to wander like, what can I do better? Or what this should have been like this, or why is this guy getting pushed? This guy's getting buried. This is one of those times where I'm like, it's exciting, right? There's lots of things going on. There's enough titles where everyone's getting a shot at some gold. It's fun. It's a fun time to be a wrestling fan. And without further ado, I bring you to the final segment of the evening. Stock up, stock down. But I'm going to reverse it this week. And for those of you new listeners, I do 3 people stock up and 3 people stock down. This week I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to do the stock down first, and you'll see why at the end. Number 1 stock down is Matt Spears. Matt Spears originally had earned the right for a one-on-one title match for the Roulette. He lost that right when he lost to Ryan Keys originally. It ended up being this convoluted mess, which turned into a 4-way match for the title, which he lost. He was the man that tapped out. So his stock has dropped for me. I do think that he's got a lot of talent and could pick it up and reverse it. I don't think it's over for him by any means. But now is the time to snap out of it, Matt. Number 2 is Constantine. You fucking suck. Get out of my ring, bro. I don't ever want to see you again. You're a waste of a signing, and you were a waste of a spot on a pay-per-view card. Number 3, stock down. You've been here before, and you're here again, Mercedes Vargas. You won a title in a match you probably should never have gotten, and you might possibly have cheated your way to win. But, that being said, you were in the moment, you took advantage of it, and a win is a win. You are in the books as a World Bombshell Champion. Congratulations. So what do? You lose your first title defense. And how does Tommy Knox feel about people that lose their first title defenses? I don't even have to say it. I know you're thinking it. So Mercy, your stock is down this week, and I'm down on you. Excuse me. Stock up. The Angel Clan put an end to the 231-day title reign of Team Hero. And you are now the new World Bombshell Tag Team Champions, and I say congratulations to you. Stock up number 2, is Despair. Right? Despair proved that he belonged, as a World Heavyweight Champion. He didn't win. He didn't beat J2H, but he did everything else right. And to me, I will never, ever, ever not watch a Despair match again. And I will always buy every pay-per-view that has Despair in the main event. Fantastic competitor. True champion in his heart. Wonderful human being. Lovable guy. Your stock is up. Stock up number 3. I've been particularly hard on these 2 women the past few weeks. Right? And I mentioned it earlier in the show. I'm hard on people when I see that they can do better. So I was particularly hard on the best tag team in wrestling. And I said some stuff that was probably not very nice. Listen, I'm not a mean guy, but I can say mean things because I just say what's on my mind and it just comes out. I don't have a filter. I'm not politically correct in any way, shape, or form. So I was hard on these two individuals. But I need to say, and I need to make sure that this is on record and that everybody knows. Team Hero, Roxy Johnson and Kira Fisher Johnson are the best examples of champions that this company has ever seen. Okay? Not only did they win for 231 days, when their champion prowess, when their pride was challenged, they stepped up. They showed the world, look, we are champions, right? Regardless of what some people may say or think, this is us. This is who we are, right? And we will fight whenever we have to fight, and we will win with these belts proudly on our waists. So I'm eating crow because Roxy Johnson and Kira Fisher Johnson are champions, with or without titles. As always, this is Tommy Knox, wishing you a wonderful weekend, and I hope you enjoyed the show. But if you didn't, then please, on behalf of all of Sin City Wrestling, especially all of the staff at the Hotwire, go fuck yourself.